call the January 5th, 2016 commission meeting to order. Let us start with
I don't think that's.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we'll have a roll call of our city commission.
Commissioner Martin?
Here.
Commissioner Vogt?
Here.
Commissioner Terry?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
And Mayor Hines.
Here.
And at this time, if Commissioner Martin, Commissioner Vogt, and Commissioner Hines would join me at the podium for oath of offices.
Just relax.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Casey Hines.
Commissioner from the ward of the city of Piqua, Ohio,
Of the city of Piqua, Ohio,
Miami County,
Miami County,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will obey the Constitution
that I will obey the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the city of Piqua,
and ordinances of the city of Piqua,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Commissioner.
of the office of Commissioner.
Congratulations. And now we will have the oath of office for Commissioner Hines as the city's mayor. And if anyone would like to join her, please do so. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Casey Hines,
Mayor of the city of Piqua,
Mayor of the city of Piqua,
Ohio, Miami County,
Ohio, Miami County,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear
that I will obey the Constitution
that I will obey the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the city of Piqua,
and ordinances of the city of Piqua,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of mayor.
of the office of mayor.
Congratulations.
She can't run a meeting.
And I'd like to ask for a motion to recess the regular city commission meeting for the joint meeting of the Washington Township trustees.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
So let's call for the vote.
Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt?
Aye.
Commissioner Terry?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Hines.
Aye. So now I'd like to call the joint meeting of the Washington Township trustees and the city commission to order. We now need a roll call for attendance.
Commissioner Martin?
Here.
Commissioner Vogt?
Here.
Commissioner Terry?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Hines.
Here.
Township Trustee Hartley.
Here.
Township Trustee McMacken.
Here.
Township Trustee Hegel.
Here.
We have before us our consent agenda for the evening, and Gary, do you want to summarize some of the things on there?
Yes, we have, first item is approval of the minutes, and this is from January the 6th, 2015, the joint meeting. Resolution number R-1-16 appoints Catherine B. Hines to fill the unexpired term of Lucy Fess, which would expire on December the 31st for Board of Trustees of the Forest Hill Union Cemetery. Resolution number R-2-16 is reappointing Frank J. Patrizio to a term expiring on December 31st, 2018 as a board member, Board of Trustees of the Forest Hill Union Cemetery.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we are going to adjourn. We need a motion to adjourn this part of our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so now we call the vote for that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we will call the city commission out of recess, and we will move into the request for nominations for vice mayor. Do we have any nominations for vice mayor?
I'd like to nominate Joe Wilson.
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion on that? Okay, let's call for a vote then. All those in favor of Joe Wilson as vice mayor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Joe.
Thanks.
Oh, we have an oath of office for the vice mayor.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Joe Wilson,
Vice Mayor of the City of Piqua,
Vice Mayor of the City of Piqua,
Ohio, Miami County,
Ohio, Miami County,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear
that I will obey the Constitution
I will obey the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the State of Ohio.
that I will in all respects
I will, in all respect,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the City of Piqua,
and ordinances of the City of Piqua,
and faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Vice Mayor.
of the office of Vice Mayor.
Congratulations.
All right. And now we have the approval of our consent agenda. Gary, do you want to talk about the?
Yes, that would include the approval of the minutes from the December 15th, 2015 regular Piqua City Commission meeting. Resolution R-3-16 is accepting the resignation of Catherine B. Hines as a member of the Park Board, which was effective December 31st, 2015. Resolution number R-4-16 is appointing a member to the Grow Piqua Now Board, and that appointment is Catherine B. Hines to fill the unexpired term of Lucy Fess, which expires on December 31st, 2017.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, moving on to new business. We first start with resolution number R-5-16, a resolution authorizing the city purchasing analyst to advertise for bids to make certain purchases during the 2016 year.
I'll call on Ms. Holtzapfel to provide the staff report.
Thank you. At the first commission meeting each year, we ask for commission approval for the purchasing analyst to be authorized to advertise for bids for any capital or operational purchases the city makes that are over $25,000. This is done in a newspaper of local circulation, which is our local Piqua Daily Call. Exhibit A that is attached is a list of the items that were compiled from the 2016 budget book that would meet this requirement.
Okay, are there any questions or discussions on this resolution? Is there any public comment on this resolution? Then I ask for a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number R5-16.
Second?
And Becky, can you call for a roll call vote?
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Terry,
Aye.
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Okay, now we are on to resolution number R-616. And Becky, I will let you read that this time.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to the Miami Valley Risk Management Association for purchase of insurance.
Ms. Wall will provide the staff report.
Thank you. This resolution is for our continued membership with the Miami Valley Risk Management Association. Piqua has been a member since 2002. There are 20 members in that organization. It is financially very strong and an economic benefit to the city. Not only does it provide us our property and liability insurance, whenever there's a loss year that's closed out, the city receives back its prorated share of what we have paid in for that year. The premium is calculated based upon a formula. That formula includes what our losses have been over the last 5 years, how many claims we have had. And this year, our premium continues to go down, and it is requested that this be approved for $312,389.
Okay, do we have any questions or discussion about this resolution? Is there any public comment? If not, I ask for a motion.
Move to adopt resolution R-6-16.
Second.
Okay, Becky, can you call for a roll call vote?
Commissioner Terry,
Aye.
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Okay, now we have resolution number R-7-16.
A resolution requesting authorization for the purchase of a new one-ton truck with dump bed and snowplow for the Water Department.
I'll ask Mr. Freisteller to summarize this item.
Yes, good evening. We are asking this evening for Commission's approval for the purchase of a one-ton dump truck for the water treatment plant. It would be four-wheel drive. This would include the purchase of the dump bed. We use this to tow the weed harvester, which is a very heavy unit, which is pretty much maximum out our three-quarter ton pickup when we try to move it. We have to back it down some very steep inclines, and it's going to be much safer to move it with this unit. It also will be used to haul the debris that we remove from the canal and the different ponds, hauling gravel, log removal from the spillways, and just a lot of various different maintenance items that staff needs to have. Previous years, we've always borrowed equipment from other departments, and that's how we were able to get those projects done. But we were always at the mercy of when we could get it or short, that those crews working a little bit short. It also will include with this the snow plowing package, which gives us a transmission cooler, a heavy-duty alternator on the unit, and will be used to assist with the snow removal during heavy times in the city of snow, and it's going to be replacing a 2005 unit that we're currently using.
I'd just like to add that the equipment is needed, especially with the harvester, to be able to utilize on a daily basis, because we're using that extensively now, and they really need something to be able to make sure they can get down into the steep grades and also have it available all the time for use.
Okay. Commissioners, do we have any questions or discussion?
The other advantage of this is we've had to borrow trucks in the past, so kind of isn't the most efficient way to deal with some of this, so having your own truck will save you a lot of time, right?
Very much so, yes.
Okay.
Then will you be able to repurpose the other truck in any way, or just sell it, or what do you do with it?
This is actually an addition to our fleet.
Okay.
It's actually, the truck that we had that was a one-ton truck was moved into the underground utility department. It was only a pickup. but this is the first time the water treatment plant will be able to have our own dump truck.
I see. Okay.
Anything else? Is there any public comment about this resolution? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion.
I move we adopt Resolution R-7-16.
Second.
Becky, can you call the roll for a vote?
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Terry,
Aye.
Mayor Hines.
Aye. And now we have resolution number R-8-16.
A resolution requesting authorization to enter into an agreement with Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber Incorporated engineers to perform an engineering study for the wastewater pump stations rehabilitation program, evaluation and preliminary design, Phase 2.
Mr. Davis will provide the staff report.
Thank you. This will continue what we started back in 2015 with the same engineering firm to continue on with Phase 2, which will be the finishing of the evaluation and the preliminary design of the upgrades that need to take place out at the different pump stations. Again, this is only for 7 pump stations. There's a picture of 6 or 8 pump stations in your packet. The Echo Lake Drive has not been acquired yet. So this will only involve the other 7.
Okay, any questions or discussion from the commissioners on this?
Well, what are we going to do to these, Dave? Put in new pumps or rebuild them, the whole thing?
You're going to see a variation. Some of them could take complete rebuilds, but there's others that aren't going to take quite as much work. And those are you saw in the packet that there was a response from the first part of Phase 1 that shows the estimated costs that could come about. Obviously, for the 2 stations up on Eagle's Nest, and I'm trying to think of the other one. There's 2 stations that don't need quite as much work, so the cost estimate for those was rather low compared to the others.
And then, Dave, I read that the one at the mall may be taken out of use.
Could be. It's not been determined for sure yet, because the cost to do that route around of the piping could be rather expensive also.
Okay, so what would that mean, that if it was no longer required for a pumping station out there at the mall?
We wouldn't have to perform all the maintenance that we currently have. We do a lot of maintenance on that mall lift station. That'll eliminate that from the pumping side of it, and we'll connect that pump station, or what was that pump station, directly into the sanitary sewer.
Okay, so there won't be any downside for the folks that
No,
have water usage out there?
no, absolutely not.
Okay, great.
Since we're going to get rid of it, why did we have it to begin with?
Well, that's something you have to ask the developer that installed it. That was done quite a few years ago by the developer.
Do we carry any spare parts for these in our inventory?
Oh, yes, we do.
I got a question. Is there a way that they can try and group these pumps so that way all the pumps of basically a like size and gallon output are the exact same pump? So that way it limits we'd have to have less spare parts.
Sure. The intent is to try and go with the crane pump systems, if at all possible. Obviously, we have to do our due diligence as far as purchasing is concerned when it comes time to buy those products. But yeah, the intent is to try and size as many as the same so that we can use spare parts on more than just one pump station.
Okay, because didn't all these kind of get put in piecemeal over years, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're all different?
Yeah, they're from all vintages. They start back in 1959, 1960, 1962. So they've been out there for quite a while. and they're all different types also.
Is there any comment from the public on this resolution? If not, I ask for a motion.
Move to adopt resolution number R-8-16.
Second.
Becky, can you call for a roll call?
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Terry,
Aye.
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Okay, this concludes our new business portion of our agenda. We now move to public comment. I want to remind people that public comment is limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone here that wants to make any comments tonight?
Joe Francis, 1810 Parkway. Almost every year I cut my thermostat back a degree or two. I've got electric heat, and I'm trying my best to keep myself within a budget. It's getting awfully hard. I was wondering how a person might contact the power department or something to maybe evaluate the kilowatt hour rates for home heating when person only has electric heat. And I know the gas is much cheaper now, but in order to try and convert over, you're talking several $1,000s. And so I was wondering, you know, what does a person do? Get a petition with 5,000 signatures, or can you just talk to someone, or?
Well, Mr. Prince, are you talking about just for you or just everyone in
Well,
general?
I know a lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are concerned it is really getting high, and mine's like $400 or $500 in the cold months.
Yeah, really, it's based on the, of course, we have to purchase power ourselves based on those costs, and usage, of course, is higher in the wintertime. But we're certainly trying to develop some other energy generation facilities within the town, such as natural gas and solar, to help cut down on the cost of transmission fees that the power department has to pay in order to get power in here. So there's some things being looked at to hopefully, and we want to try to reduce those costs to citizens as much as possible. So your point's well taken, and we'll continue to look and work on that.
Yeah, I understand there's around 4 transmission companies that supply power over the grid, and I was wondering, you know, have they looked into all those, or do they just grab one that's?
No, we actually, yeah, it's a good question, because we, with the purchase, the power that we purchase, we have ownership in several types of energy generation facilities, such as clean coal. We have 4 new hydro plants coming on the Ohio River that we'll have ownership in through the American Municipal Power later this year. We have a current contract for wind. We buy wind power, so right now about 20% of our energy that we purchase is renewable energy. So we're constantly looking at where to purchase and how to purchase, and trying to find the cheapest, get the best deals out there. So having ownership in those facilities helps us to keep those costs as low as possible. So we also, with our 2 turbines, citizens get credit for over $1 million of almost rebated on energy costs, because we have those turbines that can feed into the grid too. But we don't run those except when it's required or requested by through American Municipal Power and so forth. So yeah, we're trying to develop, and some of these new hydro plants will hopefully bring some of those costs down too.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, I will ask the city manager to provide his report.
Thank you very much. A few things to mention. We will have a work session scheduled for January 14th at 7:30. We'll have some items for discussion, so that will be on calendar. If there's no real important or pending legislative items for this second commission meeting this month, we may cancel the 19th meeting. Right now, we really don't have any pending items, so but things could pop up, but I'm just kind of give you a heads up. If we say that there won't be a meeting, it's because we really don't have any agenda items for that meeting. At the next commission meeting, we will be presenting an economic development update on all the 2015 successes that we've had and current projects that we're working on. For instance, just to give you an idea, we have 15 legitimate projects of new businesses or business expansions that we're working on right now. So everything is, it's a lot of activity going on. This is the first time, I think, beginning in the fall of this past year, we kind of turned a corner. So we're starting, some of our economic development strategies are starting to pay off. And if you look at the number of new businesses that we had in 2015, and we'll be showing some of those, I think we're headed in a really good direction for the future years. I would like to congratulate the Public Works Department for being selected for the Pass the Positive Award recently. And that was important because I think that very much demonstrates the positive attitude and work that they do within the community. So we appreciate the Citizens for a Better Piqua Committee recognizing the Public Works Department for that. Finally, just to, for the public, board and committee openings, we do have some. We have one park board opening, 3 on the Stormwater Utility Board, and 1 on the Tree Committee. So if you're interested, that you can fill out an application on our website online and get that submitted. So with that, that concludes my report. I'll answer any questions that anybody might have.
Gary, they could also, if they're not sure what the function is on these boards, they could call you and.
Absolutely. I think we have a summary on the.
Right, so you can figure out what the
Yes.
board is,
Right.
because.
If they want more details, we can give them a lot more detail on.
Okay.
That Stormwater Utility Board could be an exciting thing to do, so.
Oh, they're all fun in their own way.
That's right.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, commissioners, any comments? Joe, you want to start with you and we can,
Yeah. I know some people were a little worried. We've got a new mayor. We've had Lucy here for, seems like forever. But after hearing your first meeting, I think we're going to be just fine. I didn't hear any mistakes. And you've got the booming voice, so I think we're in good hands. So I don't think we're going to have any issues. So that's all I have.
Joe?
Okay, I'd just like to thank or congratulate Mayor Hines and welcome her to our commission, and our other members, re-elected members, and Joe as vice mayor. I've been sitting here with nothing to do at all. I also want to thank the folks who live at the corner of Broadway and Lindsay for providing the city of Piqua with their fantastic light display again this year. And there were so many people. We went by every night. Of course, it's just around the corner from us. So many people stopped and enjoyed what they've done. And I think that they might be considered also for a Pass the Positive Award, because if anybody puts some smiles on people's faces, they certainly do. Also, I have an announcement from the YWCA. Each year, they sponsor a Martin Luther King celebration. And this year, it's the 8th annual celebration, and it's to be held on Monday, January 18th, from 1 to 2 p.m. at the YWCA. The program will focus on unity today, accept the differences, and move forward. Shane Carter, who is the executive director of the Lincoln Community Center, and community members and students, along with Brenda Cobbs Allen, a musician and vocalist, will perform. This is sponsored by the YWCA and supported by Upper Valley Medical Center and Premier Health. Community members are encouraged to come and reflect on the music and life of the man with a dream at this community event. It is free and open to the public, and the YWCA is handicap accessible. And once again, it's Monday, January 18th, from 1 to 2 p.m., and it's always a really good program. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin?
We're finally starting to see winter. So everybody, when you go outside, try and stay warm. We're eventually going to see snow. Just be careful when you're out dealing with it. And that's all I got.
I have a, comment on the electric. Joe, you brought up a good point about the electric. I'm on the energy board. City of Piqua's electric is about 21% lower than anybody around. Now, the people that have electric heat might get an electrician to check their heating elements, because they have some newer ones out now that don't take near as much electric. And maybe, I have found in a couple of cases that people tell me that their breakers are some of the original breakers, and they get corroded and everything, and they will draw more electric that way too. So it might pay for a electrical tune-up in your house. Might help things a little bit. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, it has been a joy to be here for the first commission meeting of this year, and I'm really excited about all that is before us. I'm excited about, as I hear Gary talk about things that are going on in our city, and I hear Justin talk about things, there are such wonderful things happening in our city, and it is really exciting to see and to hear where we have been in 2015 and also what we are on the verge of in 2016. There is much to be proud of to be a Piqua citizen, that is definite. I do want to read a quote tonight. It's hard for me not to think about where we are in the year as a pastor, and many of you know that's where I have come from prior to being a mayor, and we are into Epiphany, which is the end of the Christmas season. And as I was reflecting on that, I came across a quote from Archbishop Oscar Romero from his 1978 Epiphany homily. And I thought part of this quote was really appropriate as we think about our community, and as I think about, as the mayor, kind of where I want us to go and what I want us to think about as a community. And this is part of his homily. Peace is the generous, tranquil contribution of all to the good of all. It is right, and it is duty. In it, each one has a place in this beautiful family. And I think that's an important thing to remember in our community, that each one of us has a place in our beautiful community, and we need to acknowledge that and do everything we can to make Piqua even a better place than it already is. So with that, I'd like to request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so I call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we adjourn our meeting.